Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Hoppy Craftsmen. I'm Eddie, and I'm here with my co-host Chris.
Hello.
Chris says hi. And it's 115 degrees outside, so you know what that means. It's time for an indoor beer festival.
It's 100% true.
And we just happened to be at the Arizona Craft Brewers Guild headquarters, and Rob Fullmer has joined us to discuss the weekend of the 26th and 27th, the events going on. Rob, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so you already introduced me, but I'll say that I'm the Executive Director of the Arizona Craft Brewers Guild, and we represent 100 independent breweries, which means about 120 places you can go to in the state. We've got various partners, craft beer bars, restaurants, people who supply goods and services to the brewers of Arizona and that contribute to the beer culture in our state. So
I think that's one thing too. Is I think when people hear Craft Brewers Guild, I think just that's all you guys do is just with the breweries and brewers. But you do a lot more than that. You guys are, they said, you're part of people that actually do craft beer in general, right? Or just beer in the valley.
yeah, I think the value of the product isn't just the product. It's part of the attitude and the sensibility, and the brewers that do such good work in the community and they're sort of centers of activity. People want to support that.
Right.
I mean, one of the selfish things that I get out of this job is when those guys do great and open up locations and do all those cool things. And I live in a state that's much better than it was. So you were saying an indoor beer festival, and I was reflecting, like, wouldn't it be great if someday we got so hardcore that we didn't care about the weather? We just like, yeah, it's 115. Yeah, spritz some water on me and we're ready to go.
I believe that's called the Warp Tour.
Yeah, the Warp Tour. It'd have to be a stout fest. We just drink nothing but stouts.
It's stouts.
Yeah. Then we drank these really outrageously high alcohol, high flavorful beers.
Ooh, just super thick. It'd
Right.
be great.
Right.
Yeah.
And we ate food that just made our gob really sticky too. Like
Wings and then cheesy fries. That's it. That's all we're
That'd
eating.
be perfect. You just your beer ABV has to be a percentage higher than temperature.
Yeah,
instead of koozies,
over 100.
Instead of koozies, it would be like paper towel you just rip off, and then your wing sauce would be on your can, and then you just like start over.
That's too funny.
Yeah, could you imagine wings at stouts at 115 degrees? That'd be awesome.
I mean,
Imagine those porta potties.
it's a dry heat though. We're fine.
It's dry heat.
This is
We're
funny because actually one of my things, and if someone steals it, I'm gonna hunt you down. We were just talking about trademarks. We trademark everything here at the Guild. So
Everything's trademarked.
So
I wanted to do SOS, Summer of Stout, and just do like a Summer of Stout festival. But
It'd be pretty funny.
yeah,
It's also pretty close to Son of Sam, right?
Yeah.
So I guess people might get a little confused. They're like, oh, it's a murder fest.
yeah.
But I think the outreach too of the guild and the breweries helps, because a lot of people don't know that you're also a non-profit organization, correct?
We're a nonprofit. We're a business trade organization. We're not a charitable organization. We do have a charitable organization called the Arizona Craft Brewers Foundation, and we use that for two things. We use it to raise emergency funds when there's a shortfall in someone's situation in the brewing industry, and that includes just about anyone who directly from the business. We're not out there for cousins and aunts and uncles, but we either provide a quick benefit, or we're able to underwrite a special event license pretty quickly to help them legally raise money with donated alcohol products. So we do that. We have over the years, sometimes have a reserve, and so we'll. I mean, it goes anything as small as sending flowers, or in some cases we've raised and dispensed on a single occasion $35,000. So we have that, and then the other side of it is we provide educational benefits. So we have a grant program called the George Hancock Fund, and we use that primarily to get people to our conference, AZ BrewCon, which is coming up. But we're here to hear people's stories and act appropriately with the the funds that people have trusted to us. Yeah. So that is run by myself and a couple other brewery owners. But we might actually spin off another one depending on different situations. So and if anyone's out there who's a business owner that is interested, I'm more than happy to walk you through how you can set up a foundation with pretty low cost, and you can do it, and it takes a lot less steps than it used to.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So if Ryan from Dark Sky falls off his bike, you're not going to buy him a Band-Aid, but you'll send him flowers. That's what you're saying.
Right, there you go.
Yeah, we can send him flowers. We're not going to buy a bike.
We won't fix his bike, but we'll send him flowers.
Well,
There you go.
we might have a tricycle for him or something that we can pick up.
Extra large helmet.
Something that is a little more safer than
Some knee pads.
All right. So before we get into what's coming up, we should do something we're really bad at.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about the beers we're drinking that Bob has so kindly provided us. Chris, what are you drinking?
I am drinking the Big Spill Pills from Wren House.
Yeah, your fanboy's still showing.
Yeah, well,
Wren House
we were just there, and we released it today. Actually, the episode came out, so I figured might as well drink it.
Might as well drink it.
Yeah.
I'm drinking Sacred Saguaro Lager from the Grand Canyon Brewing Company. It's a fancy little cactus saguaro artwork.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's a really cool label. I like it.
I think I can.
They did a lot of rebranding, and I think there's some other ones in the refrigerator that we can take a look at. But I'm drinking a
Classic.
Lumberyard Flagstaff IPA. This is my representation of IPA that I like from Flagstaff. And I like the one from Dragoon.
Mother Road's really good. Big fan of that.
Yeah, I think
They didn't have the pop. I think something happened. I don't know if they couldn't get them anymore, if they changed, but they didn't used to have the whole open mic.
Yeah.
I haven't seen those in a little while, so I was a little sad.
They
It
were
was
having
great.
difficulty getting those, and I think they thought that was a big part of their identity, and for some it was. But I'm not sure if they have plans to go back to that. I don't think it really affected their sales any.
No, the beer still tasted pretty amazing, so I didn't stop drinking it because there was the top didn't come off the can, but it was still pretty novel. I guess, right?
Yes.
I'll say this. Since I've seen you, Rob, you went from a small amount of facial hair to a lot of facial hair. As it was more of like you were out and seeing all the brewers with facial hair, and you're like, I gotta get some of that more, or...
The full story is, I think that's what people expected me to do right off the bat when I got the job.
That Rob guy, he's gonna fit in. He's gonna have a beard.
Yeah.
What's he telling us to do things?
It's something that my wife didn't particularly care for. Beard. So then, as I was sort of growing it in its scratchy phase, I just shaved off around the mouth and left the sideburns. And I said, "Guess what? We just compromised. You don't like the beard, and this is what we got left." And it's kind of funny. People would say, or she would say, "Well, when are you going to get rid of that?"
Yeah.
And literally, like the next time we were out in public, walking the street, going to a store, someone literally just uninitiated just go, "Nice chops, bro." And I'm like, I would just look at her like, "See?" And then
Not wrong.
I don't know. I this April, so
Okay.
like 3 months ago, I had a brutal schedule with an event on either side of Craft Brewers Conference. I think I was home like 4 or 5 days out of April, and my wife had a travel schedule too. And the day that we were back, the critical period where you could go either way with this beard, like and I wasn't going to see her for like 10 days, so we were both like I'm literally doing laundry, and she's like in bed sick. She had some sort of spring
Right.
so I don't think she even looked at me very closely. So I'm like, once I breezed past that, I like had another 10 days, and like, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, like jailbreak, and just seeing the the other side of it. So
Very cool.
yeah, so I've given it. This is like the 90 days that you. So I haven't screwed with it at all, and we'll
Just let
see.
it go.
I will tell you one thing is certain: it'll all come off at one point,
Yeah.
and then I'll start all over.
It's gonna fall out at real well and Woody. We see running around like man. You're just going with the clipboard and talking. Walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
If people want to start bidding for me to cut it off, donations to the foundation, we can talk about that.
Nice. All right. There you go.
Yeah. So can you do the locks for love with beard hair?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't think they take it. They probably wouldn't take it.
No.
No.
There's Cheetos in this hair. We don't want it.
Well,
Yeah.
So let's get down to the first event, which is Friday, July 26th, right?
Yep,
And
the
we're
last
talking
Friday of
about we're talking about trademarks, and Rob has an appropriate hat. It's for the AZ BrewCon, and he has a hat that looks like the ACDC logo that says AZBC.
I don't see that. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, you don't see the.
No, I don't. There's no likeness.
It's parody.
No.
It's safe.
Yes.
It's a giveaway hat for our speakers.
There you go.
So, not that I don't expect Angus to come after me, but you know.
If he did, that'd be awesome. Please.
Is it the least metal thing you can do is go after trademark, like litigation and stuff?
That's what they have lawyers for.
Yeah.
They don't do it.
Oh, was I implying it was the band? I was like the electric company. Clearly a symbol for the electrical outlet.
Makes sense. Yes.
Yeah, so stay tuned for the next year's version of a Con Ed logo. So tell us a little bit about the BrewCon.
Yeah, so it is our answer to the Craft Brewers Conference. In a lot of ways, it's more relevant because it's born and developed by people who live here. And I can't tell you how many times I've been to one of those conferences, and they were like, well, this is what we do, but check your local ordinances,
right.
Check with your local whatever, check with your local, and we're local, so you can just check with us.
Yeah, it makes more sense.
This year, we have our keynote speaker is David Walker from Firestone Walker Brewing Company.
Yeah, that's no small fish, right?
Yeah, there you go.
No, and you know, my rationale for getting him is not maybe what you would expect. Yes, we want someone who has a name and who obviously runs an operation and brews beer that people have a lot of respect for. And I don't think he's going to tell anyone as a brewer something in the brewing side that's going to change their life.
Right.
But I think he can give a lot of inspiration. I think he can talk about how we all can be successful. We aren't going to have 805, and we're not going to have this tremendous barrel age program at the same time.
Right.
We're not going to have, the credentials for having one of the better festivals in the world. He does all those things, and it's really not about that. It's the fact that every time I've seen him, and I've seen him here in Phoenix, I've seen him at Craft Brewers Conference, I've seen him in Washington, D.C., I've seen him at various things. I've watched him work a room, and he talks to literally everybody he thinks can tell him something that will improve his business or give him a better understanding of local market. It's mostly about the local market. He's talked to me. He asked me what I think, what's trending, what are the keys to success here. And I know he does that with everybody. And so I'm hoping that he can sort of share a little bit of what he's learned. There are other brewery owners that don't do that. I think there are other brewery owners that, are definitely, genius caliber. But they don't have that ear to the ground like I think he does.
Right.
So very excited about that.
I think that's true. I think there's a lot of people that are very happy in their own little kind of bubble and what they're doing there, and they're doing good stuff. But at a certain point, you can only get so big doing that, right? You can only be so.
Or they understand their bubble 100%, and they don't understand why you don't understand why their format doesn't work for you.
Doesn't work for you.
100%. Like, this is what I do. You should just do what I do, and it doesn't. So it's good to have somebody who understands and looks for that input from a local standpoint. Is part of getting somebody like David Walker to create recognition outside the state? Does that help bring other people in when they see people like that coming to events here?
Well, yeah, I think obviously we're building this for our own breweries, and so they sort of have a pretty good understanding of what this is about. But we want to attract people who are wanting to get into the industry for various reasons. We think we're a good resource for that, and this is a good resource for that. I'll be honest with you, it helps our relationships with bigger breweries, out-of-state breweries. There sometimes is the perception that we are, because we are getting better at promoting our Arizona breweries, that we're excluding or I don't think you'd ever catch us saying anything bad about any of the people who live and work in the state, because I think they add a tremendous amount of benefit, and some of them who are awesome at their jobs. I would hope someday we would have breweries that they could work for. So occasionally there's a miscommunication about what we do, and so it's a bridge builder. It helps with our distributor relationships. In this case, it's Hensley, but in other cases we have other opportunities for our other distributor partners to talk. I think it forces people to listen to a different perspective. So there are a lot of reasons for it. It just so happened we had a short list, and I was in Washington D.C. and before I had the job, David is someone who would actually talk to me as a home brewer and ask me about ash. And don't let me forget to talk about ash.
Sure.
But I just literally said, "Hey, look at your calendar. Is this date open?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Do you want to speak in Phoenix?" He's like, "I think I can do that." He's like, "I got an afternoon thing. Can I get out of there at a certain time?" I'm like, "I think so." And then I think we had an agreement, but it still took a couple of weeks to sort of lock it in. But that's the way those kinds of things work. And as we get better at putting this conference together, we're going to have these kinds of speakers, and we have some of these people in the state. And so, just to sort of go through this and wrap it up a little bit on this. First of all, if you're listening and you have any interest in ever being in this industry as a paid employee at any level, you can get in for about $100. You get a continental breakfast. You get to see David Walker. You get a lunch. There's a happy hour, and you get to rub elbows with some of the people that you want to ask questions about in a very collegial, shoulder to shoulder way. So if you're into the brew side, there are 5 or 6 topics. We have nationally we have Matt Gasiak, who is the brewery sustainability ambassador from the Brewers Association. Sustainability is a big buzzword, and it gets a lot of media, and it can make your brewery leaner and better for the environment. It can save you some money. People might be doing it already, and he's going to talk about really launching that program. And I think it's in a water-starved state. I think people need to listen to that. There is sort of an undercurrent of things that support hazy beers, but so there is a hazy beer talk with some local folks. Some of them that are putting them in packages, and some of them that are just doing these one-offs and special release. We're going to talk about can seaming. We're going to talk about hop creep, something that consumers now have an idea what that means.
Right.
So it's a thing, and so it's all about product freshness. Even if they're flying off the shelves, it's something that you need to be aware of. There is going to be a talk about all the packaging formats that are available. I don't know if you're noticing, but some of our beers, some of the beer in my refrigerator is the 19.2 and the 24 ounce. Those are happening in convenience stores like Circle K. So
That's
important to take a look at that. We've got a QA QC. There's something called QPCR. It tells you if there's spoiling agents, and it's really a technology. And the question is it right for your brewery?
Okay.
So again, even if you have stuff flying off the shelves, it's important to understand what the spoiling agents are and what they can do to your beer. And we have 2 other tracks. One is sales focused. And then another one is called the Business of Beer, with a little bit more 30,000 foot view kind of thing.
Okay.
We've got a distributor panel with 2 of the major distributors. We've got Andy McCain, the COO of Hensley.
Okay.
We've got who else we got? We have Ian Ashonis from CCD. We've got Chris Otchen from Legacy, and they're just going to talk about that Legacy's in northern Arizona.
Okay.
They're going to talk about the changing distributor environment. There are online sales. There are direct to consumer. There are things happening in the market. A lot more people as self-distributing breweries.
Well, that's funny. So I actually attended BrewCon like 2 years ago, and actually I think that at the same time there was a distributor panel that time too, and just to kind of get that, like, hear their side of kind of the industry, and it's from a consumer standpoint, you don't really get to hear that. And I mean, I attended BrewCon, for the podcast and get some more information about this year in general and just to inform myself. But there was a lot of things that was discussed at BrewCon that I found super actually fun to listen to and just very entertaining. And the distributor panel was definitely one of the ones that was like, wow, I just never realized that. And it was really cool. So
at that time, there was a lot of brand acquisition. I think that's sort of slowed down, but I think it's very targeted now. And so I think in some of the cases, it's going to be getting more out of your distributor. And it's important for people who aren't in distribution to understand the environment they work in. It's funny, like this is one of the industries where you could be arch enemies with somebody, but they'll come to a conference and tell you all their secrets. It's kind of amazing, and I'm not saying that we're enemies or anything like that, but it's really a different kind of situation in most places. There's a panel on building your network. It's primarily for women, but I think a lot of people can get some better understanding. It's really taking your network outside of the beer industry and finding people who have similar interests and can support each other. We have a panel on selling beer to people who don't look like you.
What?
People
drink beer that don't look like you?
That's this guy on this side.
Right. Oh, yeah. Weird.
We have one of our legislative champions. People don't know who he is. His name is Jeff Weninger. He owns Floridino's, and so he sells beer through his restaurant, Dilly's Deli as well. But he's a state legislator, and he has been part of the last legislative effort to fix the problems with online sale of alcohol. He has been a supporter of our omnibus bills in the past, our SB 1030 in the past. He's written legislation that opened up crowdfunding for breweries, and 1055 in Tucson has taken advantage of that. Used that new law to fund their Congress brewery.
Okay.
Borderlands is used crowdfunding too for the new location, didn't they?
That was GoFundMe or Kickstarter.
Was it
This is different. This is the distinction is if you want to get investors. If you go public, you have to. If you publicly solicit people, they have to be qualified buyers, and they have to have. There's a lot of like financial situations that they have to establish. Okay. So you can't just say, "Hey, online, hey, I'm opening a brewery. Who wants to fund me? Who wants to be an investor?
Who wants to give me $1?"
You can't do that without going through this qualified. You have to literally work it out with the securities.
Okay.
So this is a different way to do that, and still, with Kickstarter, you don't really get any equity because you bought a T-shirt. Right?
You give us $10, you get a T-shirt.
This is a way to provide equity and have to be able to spread out a message. And so there's different lower levels of commitment, but he used that, and so he's going to talk about his experience as a legislator, and I think people need to understand that. They're not all out to get us, and we have friends in the legislature and so on and so forth. So he's going to talk. I think it'll be interesting for people who don't understand that part of it. We have Four Peaks talking about how they built a world-class brand. Ted Golden, who's been there for 20 years, he's going to talk to Jim Roper, who used to work at, was one on the team that at Alaskan, who got the Smoke Porter to such prominence, and then he worked recipes to get Four Peaks to win some of those medals, and I think people can learn a lot from that. We've got a retailers panel with some folks from Circle K, I think Whole Foods. I'm not sure. I have to look at that again, but it is to talk about on and off premise sales. They're going to tell salespeople and brewers, this is what we're looking for. This is the kind of pitch we like to hear. This is how you can be successful.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and then we've got Jeff Eder from Four Peaks to talk about syndicated data. So all the data that goes behind those grocery store placements. There are reports that you have to subscribe to, and they're pretty expensive. But he could break down quarter by quarter explain what the choices were and why. And so that's one of the most. He's been at every conference.
Okay.
And so I'm calling him the professor because he's the only one who's been at every one and done a presentation. And finally, We have a former distributor owner from the Pacific Northwest to talk about the sales process and sales call process. So he's going to come out because that's one of the things that there's no real training for it.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that a local salesperson isn't going to do. Like, hey, I'll teach you how to take all my handles.
Right.
So we have to bring people from the outside to talk about sales strategy.
Okay.
And we've got more and more people out in the market, and it'd be nice to have an understanding how they can be successful. So that's all day, and people will make lifelong friends, I think, from these kinds of things.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if you're a home brewer and you make one connection, like, it's totally worth the price of admission.
Like you said, especially if if you ever thought about working in the industry or start a brewery or anything, you said those are the people you want to talk to. I mean, these people you want to rub elbows with and get to know and hopefully make friends. Like, so
you just learn the questions you don't even know that you have to ask.
Right, and that's a ton of that stuff too. Is just, you don't know what you don't know until you go there, and then you're like, wow, I just never thought of that. So it's very interesting. And like I said, coming from an IT background, there are conferences everywhere.
Right.
And it's so to see something like this locally, it's awesome. I think it's really good. I mean,
yeah. So. You homebrewers, I don't want to forget the Arizona Society of Homebrewers, the club that I was a part of, and I'm a lifetime member. I was on the board for a few years, was the president for a few years. When I was there, we had one Ninkasi winner. That is the person that has won the most medals at the National Homebrew Conference, Jeremy Volz. And it was kind of a blip on the radar, and we were trying to get serious about being better competitors, and he really showed us that it could be done. It was possible, and there was a lot of work done by some folks that said, let's get some more trained BGCP judges. They've got them to like Grand Master level. We've got a couple of master judges and out of that program, and that has paid the dividends in the point where this year we have another Ninkasi winner. Mark Peterson, and then we had 4 or 5 other medal winners. So that catapulted the Arizona Society of Homebrewers to be the Homebrew Club of the Year, which is one of the most prestigious. It is the most prestigious competition award that you can give a club, and so I'm very proud of those guys. Through the foundation that I talked about, we are awarding those medal winners the opportunity to come to BrewCon free of charge, and they're going to be my guests at Real Well and Witty.
Awesome.
So hopefully that will inspire people who are who make pretty good beer, but like are kind of sheepish about entering competition. I think people should take that leap, because the rewards are awesome. I think it's going to do great things for State. I think we're going to see the effect of this kind of ripple for the next couple of years.
That's so cool. So yeah, I saw. I don't homebrew per se, but I know people that homebrew. So Nate and Jeff both homebrew.
I go over to people's houses.
We homebrew together. It means I hang out with them and help stir every once in a while or something.
I drink beer with them.
But no, I'm on the Ash Facebook group, and so I follow what's going on with them too. And so I saw that, and I was super excited for that. I was like, that's awesome. I think somebody said something about it was Mark. He said that he won 2 things, and that hasn't happened for like 20 years or something like that, where I was like, that's what happened in the exact same year.
Yeah.
Right? I was just like, that's amazing that in a little bit of time that it's gone from...
Yeah. I mean, it used to be a few clubs really dominated, but there's so many more entries now. It's the opportunity is there. So I'm excited for them, and I'm going to be shaking a lot of hands when I see them next time at their next meeting. I'm so
very cool,
jacked about it.
And they're a great bunch of brewers. Like, they're not judgmental. They're inviting people who have no experience, and I see them all the time, like doing collaborations and talking about how they brew, where they brew, systems, and So if you have any interest in doing it,
a couple of those people either on the current board or sat on the board before. Dennis Mitchell is one of the guys I talked about. He's a Grandmaster. He's won consistently now a couple of years. He's got medals. He's really, he and the team he built around him. I might as well mention the rest of them, Danielle Schenke and Warren Earl were the other medal winners.
Very cool.
For Ash, and they really set the bar, and so they did their time as board members. It's tough. Hopefully they'll be inspired to come back or talk someone else into it and provide, because I think that club goes up and down. Even when I was there, it's always a struggle, and it's thankless to volunteer for that, and so I'm glad they got a win, because I think it's really going to help.
Do you think that having a good homebrewers association like that helps with kind of the next generation of brewers and breweries opening in the state?
Yes and no. I think it's hard to predict how well a brewery will do based on how well the person does as a homebrewer.
Right.
The business skills are really the hurdle,
right?
And the ability to raise money and to be a host, believe it or not. I mean, those are all important. So, because I tell you, there's a brewery that I followed a long time ago when this Kickstarter thing was going on, and I funded some. Not fun. I bought a T-shirt.
Yeah, right.
And I visited them in Atlanta, and I went there, and the beer was terrible. It was just terrible. It was like, right, well, whatever. God bless you guys.
Right.
Go for it. They ended up opening a brewery, and years later, they've won a few gold medals for barrel aged beers.
Oh, wow.
And so, like, if I was to say, hey, if you're a great home brewer, you're automatically. And I've seen, there's been other winners of some of these awards, and I don't hear from them again, or where they start a brewery. And I think what matters is dedication and devotion to something, and seeing it through. And Jeremy, who I talked about, he won medals again this year, but he's with his club now in Vancouver, Washington. But when he won the first time at Ninkasi, he's like, "Great, this is so great, because I'm never gonna brew again, because I just had twins." And so life happens, and so some of these, it's like, it's funny. I think sometimes when you're online in the homebrew things, people like disappear for literally 7 years, because that's about the time to get through the kid years,
right.
So you can get back to it. So I really think it's just the dedication to an idea, and being a good home brewer is part of it, but I think the real go-getters are the ones that understand that you have to hire a team, and even though you might be the best brewer, maybe that's not what the business needs.
Right, and you can't do it alone.
Yeah.
And it's tough when your brew house has to get put aside for a minivan and some family bicycles and that kind of stuff.
My thought was that at some point, if brewers leave here and go other places or go to bigger places and move on, the pool of people you have to draw from is going to be greater, because you have such a good, solid homebrew club compared to there's just it's barren, and you have to go out of state to try to pull people back to this state. So,
well, to your point, and I know I sound like I just no, just no, we'll be terrible. I think what you said is true. Is it's going to attract people to the state. It's going to attract people who have a relationship with Arizona to say, hey, I do brew beer, and I hadn't considered Arizona to be a place where good beer is made.
Okay.
Right? So evidence there. Evidence when we win other medals.
Okay.
Evidence when people come here and have a good time and are surprised by the quality of beer here. So I think we have that advantage over some other states. People have family here. People have gone to the Grand Canyon. People have a romance about it. Is anyone really romantic about... I'm going to pick a state, and someone's going to be like, that bastard.
Montana.
Oh, I love Montana.
Montana's great, man. See? Can't do it.
I mean...
South Dakota.
Oh, yeah, it's great, because there's 4 people there.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. What's the most nondescript state?
Nondescript? Nebraska?
You said it. Okay.
Yeah. Well, on that note, let's take a break, get another beer maybe, and we'll come back about Real Wild and Woody and some other stuff.
Right on.
All right. We'll be back.
Welcome back, everybody. We have new beers, and in true Hoppy Craftsman tradition, we all have the same beer, so there's not going to be any dialogue about the different beers we're drinking. But it is an interesting beer, Chris.
Is it a 19.2? I think you called it a stovepipe, Ed?
Stovepipe can?
Yeah. This is ginormous.
Yeah, it's a little taller. It's like a two-hand. It's like a lightsaber.
Oh, there you go.
And it boldly says 19.2 on the side,
Big
so
letters.
you have no doubt about how many ounces you're getting.
It's an American Pilsner from also from Grand Canyon.
And it's got really cool graphics.
Yeah, the graphics pretty awesome. It's actually like a waterfall. Like you said, they definitely changed their graphics up a lot.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
I'm very happy. This is something that is really enjoyable to look at. Why are we talking about that?
I like the big axes with the fish and the boots and the campfire, the mountains, the little thing on the top there. That's pretty nice. It says "Live curiously." Is that what it says?
Live adventurously.
Adventurously on this side.
Yeah, I think that's something that more breweries are trying to grab onto, is that we're an outdoor state. I mean, given even when it's 115,
Right.
people are still going out. Like, we don't have really an off season. Maybe,
Just go north.
yeah, we hike year round.
Or just start at 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
Start at 5 in the morning. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, your hike starts at 4:30 instead of 7 in the summer. But it's more. I would say this is more economical to throw in your backpack than like a bomber or something.
Or
A big 22-ounce bomber in your backpack to go hiking. Or, well, especially here, the rivers and lakes, you don't want to take glass. So
Right.
I think if anybody's primed to utilize a 19.2 ounce can, it would be Arizona.
right. So, do you know that they're the only ones doing it so far? This size? You said that other people are doing it, or
No, there's others. I honestly
Yeah.
haven't been able
I haven't
to
really
keep
seen.
up
I
with
mean,
it.
I've seen other like breweries in the U.S. doing them. I think, like I said, that the founders in there. I've seen them guys brew those big cans. I know Great Divide does it too. I just know nobody locally was doing besides Grand Canyon. If not, they should. If you listen to this, other breweries in Arizona make them 19.2 cans.
Or just go big. Be the first brewery in Arizona to do the Foster's can.
Oh, there you go. Aren't those crawlers?
Yeah, basically.
I mean, is that just a crawler?
So I guess we get into the meat of it. The real reason we're here, what the fans want to know about, is the big indoor beer festival and I think I would say it's probably become the fan favorite. I know it's become the brewer's favorite is Real Wild and Woody, and this is the 6th annual, right?
It's a 6. We had 1 year in Tempe. It was a very limited space. So at that time, we just said everyone's a VIP, and we got everyone a badge, and it was a little tight. Someday I'd like to do something at the Tempe Center for the Arts again. Probably more of a dinner, a sit-down thing. We did really well until some brewery spilled a huge amount of beer onto the carpet, and I think the 5-year penalty is over. I think we could probably talk to them again. But it's been at the Phoenix Convention Center for the last 5 years. When we asked about being there, they said no one has ever had a beer festival in 30 years here, and I don't see it happening. And
have you seen these carpets? They're immaculate.
Yeah, right.
well, it's all concrete floor there. There's another story about that, but this is where the lobbying and the relationship building and the policymaker thing came in. And I said, okay, well, I will talk to a few people, and maybe I'll talk to you again. And that's what we did. We reached out to the mayor's office. We reached out to the governor's office and said, hey, is there a reason you think that we should not be able to do this? And so they've been very accommodating after that. It's not like we dropped the hammer on them. We were very nice about it. We just said, hey, we think there's a business interest. There is a societal good from having a marquee beer event in one of the hottest industries in going on right now. And they agreed, and so we've had it there for the last couple of years. They had concrete floors. I'm showing you a picture.
I'm starting to look at that. I keep staring at it.
This is available to VIPs. We didn't sell this, and we didn't put this out initially because we were still working on it. But anyone who buys a VIP ticket, whether it's a hard stock ticket or a complimentary ticket or purchase online or how they get it, if they get those credentials, we have a glass that is shaped. It is a keg, but it's the old key keg or Golden Gate, so more looks like a firkin.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's got a new branding this year with the desert colors, and sponsored by Grandstand, the glass maker. So that's on the ticketing site now. So if you bought a ticket and you're like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Go to the ticket site and take a look at it. I'd love to provide these glasses to everyone for the festival.
Right.
Unfortunately, we did that 1 year, and everything went great until like the last half an hour. There were some accidental drops. We cleaned it up, and then there were like literally a half dozen people who literally were just throwing them on the ground because they thought it was funny. So,
That's why we can't have nice things, people.
Right.
So you will get this glass on your exit, please travel at least 15 miles away from the convention center before you throw them on the ground. Maybe in your own home, that would be nice.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We're excited about that. We're excited to offer VIP, as I mentioned.
Well, I was going to say is we noted it's one of the. This is the first year, right? This is the first year that's VIP. That's awesome.
Right, and it's actually our top selling ticket right now. We have a VIP and we have a VIP plus meal. One of the things that people don't realize is we can't just bring in anybody we want to serve food. So we try to get some restaurants. We've got a number of them that sort of give away 1 or 2 ounce samples, and we have to use the convention center's contract holder, which is Aventura, and they step up their game a little bit on the menu. But realistically, it's not all that cool to stand in a concession line,
Right.
and they do more than hot dogs and hamburgers. They really have tried to address the spirit of the event, and they're getting better at it. And so this year we said, hey, what if we did this, and we offered these meals, and hopefully we'll hit our threshold on it, and people can actually just you're in there an hour and hopefully take a pause and check out what they do. It's a 3 taco plate. We kind of ate some of the costs on it because it is convention pricing.
Which is tough.
Yeah.
Say the least, but
It's not your downtown street taco cart.
No. Here's the thing: in the hotel convention situation, you're paying a price, and then you're paying a 25% service charge, and you're paying almost 9% sales tax. So you're paying. So anything that they say the price is, even if it's competitive with street pricing, you're going to pay 33% more. And it's, I don't know. Maybe the guy that owns Aventura, if it's actually a guy or a family or whatever, maybe they're filthy rich. I have no idea. I also know that building is closed, a lot of the days of the year, so I have no idea.
The bottom of that list says Mexican chocolate cake, so
Chris is sold.
I'm sold.
You had me a chocolate cake.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is, I talk to people about going to Beer Fest, and I tell everybody, I'm like, listen, VIP is worth it. Like, whatever you're doing, whatever it's going to be, VIP is always worth it, because there's usually going to be a limited number of them, so you're going to have either early entry or you're going to get something with it. And so it's always a bonus to get that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And why not do it? I mean, it's just so much better, especially when we talked about it in the past, but, Strong Beer Fest, the VIP for that at this point is by far worth the price.
The best value.
Oh,
And I think it sort of breaks up the event for everybody.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will not stay the entire length of their VIP. In this case, it helps with us with the line situation because it's going to take me forever to train these guys that do it once a year for this event, and we contractually have to use their security and all that stuff, and we go through a plan, and every year the plan is we need more resources, we need more money. I'm like, I can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
So this is going to help, I feel.
Very cool.
It's going to be a smaller number of people coming in, and then that'll free the lineup, and things will move. And that's my story. That's the plan. But human beings are not known for their predictability sometimes.
So as when we release this, it'll be the week of Real Wild and Woody. So correct me if I'm wrong on this pricing. It's $60 general admission before the day of the event, $80 VIP, and then $100 for the meal or VIP plus meal.
Yes.
And then general admission day of is $80.
Yeah.
VIP, if there's any left, will be $100, and VIP with meal is $120. Correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
And I got to get us out of the cycle where everyone decides the day of to go.
Yeah.
It totally that $20 extra across the board doesn't cover all the heartache, honestly. And our options are just to cut it off totally the day before, and people show up, and then they're screwed.
They're bummed, yeah.
But I can't tell you like how hard it is to predict and to manage that crowd, not knowing how many people are going to show up that morning. And we kind of do that with the Strong Beer Festival. We say it's sold out. We say it's sold out when we feel like we don't want to really force the issue on all of this stuff,
Yeah.
And so I can't make anyone leave early, but that's so I can't just
Right.
can't fix the crowd that way. And I've said it before, and I'm kind of claustrophobic when it comes to really big crowds.
Mm-hmm.
Not when I'm anonymous, but when people might know who I am, I feel really weird. Like I got to say hi to everybody. I'm like, I want a little space. I want a little bit of time to.
Yeah.
That's the reason for the beard. Gives people a double take.
Little
Wait, is
space.
that Rob?
He just blends in with the rest
It
of
looks
the-
like Rob, but I'm not quite
Oh
sure.
yeah, dude! When I started doing this, and then there was an event, and I don't wear shorts when I'm working because I think
You wear pants, though, right?
yeah.
You wear
right.
you wear something.
You wear
Well,
something.
My other job
His kilt was dirty that day, so
my other job in the other industry I work in doesn't require pants.
No.
So I was wearing shorts, t-shirt, ball cap, which is not normally what I wear, and I was literally invisible to people who knew me. It's like, I didn't see you there. Normally I look for your silhouette and your hat. I'm like, yeah, well,
yeah. Rob in his hat is like Clark Kent in his glasses.
Yeah,
Like, once
yeah.
he takes it off, it's like, who is that guy?
I'm trying to be more like David Bowie.
Ziggy Stardust.
Right? Yeah.
There you go,
Lightning
yeah.
Bolt is next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Lightning Bolt.
And then so the event runs from 2 to 6, and VIP is
1
to 6 basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So now
VIP is an hour early, and like we said, it's worth it.
Right.
Plus, the cost is worth it because Chris always says, like, where else can you go and taste that many different beers? Like, you can't
For the price.
Right.
I mean, we have
insane.
we have great bottle shops here, but you can't go to like the Sleepy Whale or Wandering Tortoise or Bottle Shop 48 or Divided Vine and try that many beers for that price. Like, go try
Right.
that many different beers from that many different breweries, and
it's like what you were saying. You're in the software industry. You've been to conferences. You've been to conventions. You've been to expositions. And I think it's really cool that we're in the biggest indoor building in the state. It is designed for bigger things than us, and it's really cool to see some verticality to the festival. To see like a rock climbing wall, to see
Right.
a mechanical bull, to see all the stuff in a smaller venue, and
a DeLorean.
So I think
Because
last
Huss likes to bring a DeLorean
I know, right? That's so
to
funny.
events.
So last year, we're at capacity, kind of. There's no more because I know that the year before there's more room to kind of grow.
Right.
Last year was it pretty much we filled that space, and you're just going to be exactly the same, or we.
The space is the same. The layout's similar.
Okay.
I'm not sure what we're approved to sell. I think sales right now are better than last year. Premium sales are way up. So if I don't remember if we ran out of VIP tickets. We didn't have VIP. So how?
Yeah, no, you can run out of those.
I don't.
Yeah, we
so,
totally ran out. So much that we
I
didn't have
can't
it.
predict when those will sell out.
Right.
Last year for Strong Beer, we sold out our VIPs earlier than we ever did. Usually it goes like around Christmas. Like we sold out way before Christmas, and which was the thought is like, hey, buy this for a Christmas gift, right?
Right,
And
right.
so that was the earliest we ever sold out VIP, and so I don't know if this is going to be the same situation.
So I tell people like that there's gonna be a beer festival, and they're like, "When?" I'm like, "July," and they're like, "Ah," and I'm like, "No, it's indoors." And they're like, "Oh, okay, cool, I'm in." So
Yeah.
it's definitely a lot. makes me laugh.
The math on this is not easy. It would be prohibitively costly for anyone else to do this. That doesn't have the arrangement with the breweries that we do. But I would love to see it. I would love to see more, not necessarily strictly brewery focused things going on in Phoenix. So if you want this kind of thing to happen, you don't have to come every year.
Yeah.
You don't even have to. Convince your friends to go.
Right.
You don't have to go yourself. I get it. I see people say, "Hey, I can't go to Surround Beer Fest, but I went last year," or "It's the first time in 3 years I've been back." I'm like, welcome back.
Yeah.
man.
Right.
We need to churn new people through. We need to. If we're going to grow as an industry, we can't just have everyone come to the same things.
Right.
So, if you can't make it and someone would enjoy it, let them know.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, there's Christmas in July, right? That's give somebody a Christmas in July. If their birthday's in December, tell them you're not buying them anything because it's too close to Christmas, and get them a Real Wild and Woody ticket for July.
Right, and you mentioned that this was a brewery favorite. And I think part of it is part of the thing that separates us from any other festival is exactly that. They're out to impress the consumer, but they were kind of up to one up each other or to try other beers to see, if there's something that they need to take a look at. And, it's the reason why I go to the GABF every year. Everyone says, it's so, why do you go there? It's so many blah, blah, blah. It's this and that. I'm like, you don't know. I've been there a lot. And
Right.
My sole purpose is to see people I haven't seen in a long time. And if I don't go, I'm not going to see them. So it should be a social thing. I'm excited about it. I think it's a crown jewel in July in downtown Phoenix, and we're here to support light rail. We're here to support the hotels and businesses down there that are kind of a little bit slower. People ask me, David Walker didn't ask me, I don't think, because I think he's polite, but he's like, what? People ask me, like, why do you do your conference in July? I'm like, because we live here.
Yeah.
Because we live here. Like, what are we supposed to do?
It was either that or get in my pool for 7 days straight. And it's bathwater warm right now, so I need to do something else.
And I'll be honest with you, Tucson isn't markedly climate different than us. And people say, why don't you do more stuff in Flagstaff? It's really locked up there. And I don't want to
Congested even more.
Even if we were to do something, and we are going to do something up there, which we can talk about, but I don't want to push anyone out of their space. Yeah. And honestly, with the way the 17 is, I hate to have somebody...
If you've ever driven up the 17 on a weekend or a holiday, you know exactly why.
Yep. I would love to have an outdoor festival in Flagstaff in the winter and close off a street and put out some barrels with fire and heaters. My worry is we've got beer reps that are going to do Friday night events here, and they're going to drive up Saturday, and if there's a weather system, I don't want anyone to die.
Yeah.
That's being said, I might do it someday, but I don't know what provision we're in. But that's really my biggest fear is or fans or anyone getting trapped either way, going up there or getting back.
Stuck, yeah.
So
I think that's the thing about events like this that doesn't really get a lot of notoriety is when other brewers are coming in, when we talk to Wren House and they're going out for a festival, I think in California, they're looking to go collab with people. And I think it's the same thing here. People who are coming in, Odd 13's coming, and they've collabed with several breweries here. I'm sure they're going to collab with somebody that week or that day or however their schedule works out. So it's you're right. It's you could have it in Flagstaff, but all the breweries down here are probably going to do something, or they're going to team up with somebody to bring something up there.
And I saw Jester King, right?
Yeah, Jester King's going to be there.
That's amazing.
That's a huge haul for...
Right. I'm super excited about that. Yeah. For them to be here, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, they do some collabs when they're here, right? And that would be the bonus for everybody. It'd be really cool.
So I think that's kind of the next question is, obviously it's... financially, it's viable, stressful, a strain. What's the goals for putting on festivals like this? Is it to bring notoriety? Is it for networking? Is it for what is the purpose of doing these events?
I think
there's so much involved in putting them on.
I think it's all of what you just said. I think strategically it's important to really make a statement to everyone in the country. We're doing a festival in the summer. It's hot, but it's well attended, and it's it's a statement about how we feel about the importance of having a strong downtown Phoenix, about the infrastructure with hotels and light rail, our partnership with Lyft. It's saying that we're a pretty good city year round. It is the counterpoint to strong beer, which is on the other side of the calendar. I think as we grow our conference, it might take a different shape, and I think with more speakers from, they're gonna. Hey, I also like to be part of Real Wild Woody, and some of them might not be distributed here, so we might have to figure that out as we grow our conference. Really, the goal is to make it attractive to have the Craft Brewers Conference here. There are some hurdles that we're working through, but in the meantime, the journey to get there is paying dividends. I mean, we're learning so much about different types of events. And I tell you, again, another organization would have a really difficult time working through all these things because they don't have the resources we do. We don't have access to the beer and the brewers that we do. Hopefully, our goal for downtown Phoenix is really to have more of an open campus feel during events, baseball games. I really hate the fact. In fact, this is a call out to anyone who goes to sporting events downtown and doesn't know anything about downtown, because like as soon as you get there, you want a burger in like 30 minutes. You go to the game and then you get in your car and like you're immediately shuttled 20 blocks away from downtown. It's like even if you wanted to do something downtown, you're probably not going to do because you're on the other side of town already because of the way the traffic is.
The way they close roads, and it's like, well, okay, I'm now down this side street, so I'm going to roll up my windows and keep driving now.
Dude, this has been going on when Diamondbacks won the World Series. We almost made the mistake of getting in our car. I was at Game 7. We almost made the mistake of getting in our car. I'm like, but it was so weird. Like nobody knew what to do. Like nobody knew what was open, even though it was the World Series, because we weren't that kind of town. And so much has changed downtown. There's so many great businesses downtown. We have a $99 hotel situation. If you go to the websites, hopefully it's still live. Like go spend a weekend. Just go to the conference, go to the festival. Stay Friday night because there might be a lot of brewery people popping around, and we might have some pre-events. You might see David Walker and his hair. I guess he cut his hair. We'll see.
There's so many good things downtown too.
Yeah, 805 just falls out of his hair.
Why is it when he's an English guy, it's not a mullet?
Yeah, there you go, right?
He's gonna hear this now.
Oh no. But
people will hear it.
There's so much good things down. I mean, there's Mother Bunch downtown, Wilderness Joseph downtown, Angel's Trumpet, Cobra Arcade Bar.
Then you have that whole Roosevelt
Row, yeah.
There's a new brewery down there at Grand Avenue.
Yeah, they just opened, 2 months ago? A month ago?
Yeah, I was there. I don't remember. A couple months ago, yeah.
You're like, yes.
And that's a running joke, right? They've been trying to open for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. The owner took his own pace. He owned the building. He had a law practice. He was just like he wanted to stake his claim before anyone put anything near him that would prevent him from doing what he wanted to do. So from his perspective, it's right on time,
right in schedule.
Yeah, he's a wizard. Wizard's never late.
But I'm telling you,
exactly what he means.
They got that garage door open. They really did a lot of cool work in that space.
It's a great spot.
Have you been?
I actually went with Marshall from Borderlands.
Yeah.
Before they opened, he's like, "Hey, you want to go to
Grand
Avenue?" I was like, "Yes."
Dude, they got a smoker there, and it's a pressure smoker, and it's like they're smoking baked potatoes.
Yeah, they're doing like baked potatoes.
I'm like, it's the greatest thing ever.
That sounds awesome.
Hopefully, they do some cool smoke things with their beers, but I mean, their beers are good. It's a place that people haven't sat and hung out in a while, and there's that street has been struggling. The Third Space bar, I guess, is going to have to leave by the end of the month. It's still in a weird transition, and it is like really really cool. Like we're hopefully State 48 where they are on Van Buren can kind of be an anchor for things going up that way. I know Wilderness looked at that area too. I know that Borderlands looked at that area too. I know a lot of people looked at that area, and hopefully more things will land because it's really the gateway to the west side.
Yeah.
It's the near west side. I don't know. It's
that makes sense.
There's still some cool buildings there, so these are the things that we don't really get involved with unless we have a festival on and we have a reason to be down there.
Right.
So that's one thing I'm saying. If you're just casually into downtown and just because you go to an event down there, you really gotta spend some time down there and hopefully get an overnight stay, have some breakfast the next day, enjoy it.
This is what people do for Comic-Con, right? I'm sorry, it's not Comic-Con, right? It's Phoenix Fest.
I don't know
whatever
Phoenix
it is.
Fan Fest.
Phoenix Fan Fest. People do that. I mean, that's what people. The hotels around there just fill up for that, and a lot of people are local people, so it should be different from this perspective. It's like Real Wild and Woody. Go downtown, drink a bunch of beer, stay downtown. You don't have to drive. You don't get an Uber. You don't got to pay for anything.
So because of Real Wild Woody, Comic-Con, Phoenix Fan Fest, and a couple other events have had a local brewery do beer there. It's been Huss. This year, Huss invited 8-Bit. 8-Bit had been going to Comic-Con for years,
right.
but was too small to really have the ability to bring beer. They weren't going to be able to play in that space, and Huss invited them, and they got that approved. And
cool.
hopefully that all went.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they're too busy nerding out.
No, I mean that was
beer.
Something that they had been part of because it's their fan base, and they couldn't serve beer. And the last time I didn't go this year, I went last year. The last I heard, it was like, yeah, it's a done deal. They're going to have 8-bit beers there.
That's so cool.
So
I could imagine it's like Ryan complaining. It's really hard to carry an arcade cabinet around Comic-Con and serve beer. All right, I need a trolley or something. But like Chris has always said, it's if you had to choose between a brewery and a strip mall and a historic area like Mother Bunch and Grand Avenue, it's like the aesthetic of that area is so appealing, and like it creates so much character in the walls, and like especially at like Grand Avenue, like all the exposed brick, and you're like, wow, this place is cool, and it might fall down on me one day.
I mean, if you wanted to build that, it's going to cost you way too much money.
It would cost, like, if you wanted to build a brewery with that kind of rustic look, like you're looking at $1 million easy, just in the foundation.
Hey, maybe you should call Walt Disney and find out what team they're using to build the Star Wars thing.
Yeah. But do you want to get into standout beers? And
some of the things on the we looked,
Untapped,
we looked a little
you
bit
guys
ago.
have been using Untapped now for
a couple years
now, both strong beer and Real Wild and Woody.
We've done it for the Baja Beer Festival as well.
Okay.
Last couple of years.
I mean, that's the thing, is that I don't think people realize that you can go in there and see all the beers ahead of time too, which is really cool to be able to do, and kind of get excited for.
Oh, remember at Strong Beer Fest, we saw people with maps. Like they had like highlighted maps of I need to go here, I need to go here, and I need to go here, and it was all based on Untapped. Like they had their like hit list of the beers and the breweries, and they had a definitive plan. Like
yeah, and
they were motivated.
Yeah, it's and that's a labor of love. I know occasionally there's a mistake on the map, and there are people who change spots or set up in the wrong area, but it's too late for us to do anything about it. It's I mean, for strong beer, even for this event, there's 70 breweries. Things happen, but yeah, to have the beers in advance, sort of scope through and understand what you want, and for people who are bringing people who don't necessarily like beer, you guys mentioned before we started there are a couple of kombucha makers. We feel that they fit the flavor profile. We're excited about that. There's a couple of cideries too, for people. You know, in the end, we're hosts, we're hospitality. Oh, there's breweries that are bringing their distilled spirits too.
Yeah, because we have a handful now.
Yeah.
Excuse me, they're doing spirits like Santan, Grand Canyon, Oso.
Yep.
Who else like that?
Thunder Canyon is. They're not going to be at this festival this year, but.
Well, thanks, Rob. Get our hopes up. But no, like that's. I think, I'm sure you see it as the Arizona Craft Brewers Guild, but like wine and spirits and. Who do you think is going to be the first to do a hard seltzer?
It's already out.
No, I mean Arizona. Who's going to?
No, it's already out.
Oh, somebody's already done it.
Yeah.
Somebody already.
Four Peaks does one. Santan does one.
Man.
Those are the only ones that are able to do it because of the license they have. There might be some very malt forward ones done, but. With breweries, but it's something that we're looking at, something we're tracking. There's a funny picture. I don't know what movie it was from, but there's a funny picture I just saw the other day of 3 people sitting in a row with a gun to the back of your head. It's like big beer, imports, craft beer, craft beers at the end, like they're like got guns on each other, and then like there's the balcony and like the sniper is seltzer.
Hard seltzer. You're like,
but I don't know. I mean, who knows?
So you can finally answer the question when that one person comes up and I'm allergic to gluten and I don't like beer. What should I drink? You're like, okay, there's kombucha over there and there's cider over here.
Well, they should always ask because who knows, right? You can make kombucha with malt. You can make as a base. You can, or who knows. But they should always ask. But yeah, we want it to be enjoyable. We want people to bring. Their friends that maybe don't enjoy or don't know they enjoy beer yet, and they're like, well, I don't know. I'm like, well, you can, if you, nothing else, you have all these ciders and all these kombuchas and these spirits. So, honestly, yeah, we have to look after our brewery members, but I think ideally we would like to have more wine and spirits at our events. It's just that we're so big now. I mean, what is our alternative? Like to have, at Strong Beer to have 150 breweries plus 20 wineries plus 15 distilleries. I guess that would be okay if we had on-site camping and a lockdown campus situation. You can't leave until you blow under this. I don't know.
You never get to leave.
Yeah, we had that outdoor setup that one time with the camper, right? How many people could you fit in that one camper? So, I guess would you count Dark Sky bringing a 2.5% beer a kombucha then? Are they going to be with the kombucha guys?
If you're looking at
which is an amazing beer,
the Juice Box.
Juice Box
Hero.
When we were at their anniversary party, that was probably one of their most popular beers, and then people were like, "This is only 2.5%."
It was insane how good that was. Yeah, we
people
drank a
were
bunch
almost
of that.
offended. Like,
Yeah, I was like, "Wait, what?"
Don't give me a beer this good that's this low in ABV.
Super vegetable.
I don't know if their beers might change because the one downside of the Untapped platform is the breweries have to put it in advance, and like a lot of them are reluctant to because they don't want people checking them in before they're actually available.
Yeah, right.
It's really disadvantaged to have like a cask beer because like people don't want to manage having a cask beer. So I mean, we put in another tab on the menu that says unicorns, and I don't know what we're going to do with that yet. Right now, I just put it up with Mother Road's cask beer so you could actually see them because they're not going to put something that they dose especially for the festival on Untapped. So I'm not sure. We've used it a couple times now that as we talked about, and I've got some work to do with Untapped. That they just basically took their platform and tried to make it be a festival platform. It suits our needs, but there's a lot of work that can be done on it. And I'm trying to get them to understand we want more people to check beers in,
Right.
So we can give that feedback to the breweries, so they get to see that. We would like them to supply signage that says, "Hey, check your beer in a tap." I'd like to, we do actually give away tickets.
Badge? Can we get a badge? Can we get a badge from Untapped?
Yeah, when do we get a badge for Real Wild and Woody and Strong Beer, Rob? That's what we need to. That's the important thing. That's what people care about.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Gamification. That's what everybody wants.
I don't care if it's a verified venue. I want a badge.
We've done it for Strong Beer and Beer Week in the past. I'd really like to just, we've randomly picked people to give tickets to for other events if they check in. There's check it in. Only good things can happen to the whole thing if you check it in. Like I said, I'd like to have Untapped pay for some signage and say, "Hey, check this in on Untapped," and they're like, they don't want to spend money. I'm like, well, if you don't have any users using the thing,
how are you making?
I mean, I'm happy to just use it as a menu thing.
Right.
Yeah. Plus, it's a marketing thing, right? You can go ahead of the event, look, and see a giant list of wow, that as soon as I saw 12 West in their cuvee stuff, I was like, well, I'm going there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm wearing the shirt right now, so
yeah.
That's how that goes. I'll say this: I just saw one on this list, and I was like, "Oh, I'm excited to try this now." Deschutes Brewing has a pilsner called Deschutes, but spelled differently. Deschutes. Which makes me laugh. So now I gotta try that now just because I saw it. So
well, I saw that brewer's doing an alt beer, and I just went to Germany, so I'm interested in trying that one.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, it's grown to the 5-year mark, and we have to allow breweries to put on beers that sell. So they're gonna hit the style mark on a lot of it, but the thing that people don't understand from the outside is because they just have their singular perspective is like I got this years ago about Strong Beer Fest. Like, hey, I went to Strong Beer Fest. There was a wheat beer. I'm like, that wasn't for you.
No,
you don't like that. It wasn't for you. It was for somebody else. But what the breweries tell me is some of their mainstream beers, they go through more of their mainstream beers than they do the specialty beers. And it makes sense. It's what people like. They want to try new things, but they also want to have something that they're familiar with, or they want to go back to something they probably wouldn't buy, but they want to check on it. They want to see if it's what they remember or if it's different. So
I mean, as a consumer, I'm kind of torn either way, right? So as a craft beer geek, as I like to call myself, instead of being a beer snob.
No, you're just a nerd.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Like, the exclusivity of things,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really, it's like, oh yeah, that just calls to me, right? I want the thing that's exclusive that people can't get, so I want a smaller beer fest and, you know, the beers I can't get all the time. But at the same time, I understand the opposite, like what you're saying is where I go to a beer fest and I find something I really, really want and like, right? I can go back to the brewery and get that anytime I want, right? I mean, and that at the same time makes more sense too, because it's great for instant gratification to get this exclusive stuff, but in the long run, it's not great. I mean, I can't go, you know, I can go to Rent House and get Spellbinder now all the time, and that's amazing to me. Where if I can only have it, you know, one time a year, it's like, what the fuck? I mean, I don't know. I see it both ways, which is kind of very torn between both worlds, you know? It's really weird.
But it's like, and in some cases, you can get stuff you did miss out on. Because, like, I was looking at the list, and Dark Sky is bringing High Country Brunch, which is a popular beer that they did for their anniversary in bottles. And they had it on tap, but it's like, if you can't get up to Flagstaff, or you're in Tucson, you're coming up to Real Wild and Woody, you can get that there. The other one is Oso doing that Ales from the Crypt line.
Oh, that's
They're
a great
bringing, that they've listed, who knows, this could change, but bourbon barrel-aged cake eater. So,
I saw Go Rangers, Sour Rangers from Goldwater.
Goldwater, who's killing it right now.
Talk about trademarks. Trademarks.
And this will be the third Sour Rangers, right? They've done the pink, the yellow, and this will be the blue. So they have the black to go and the red, which should be interesting.
Wow, you know your Power Rangers.
Yeah.
I mean, I know.
Hey, listen, I know Voltron, and I just translated that to Power Rangers. Same color scheme.
All right.
But to mention also, they won the U.S. Beer Open medals for their ales from the Crypt. The Tequero won a bronze, and the Knights of Windsor won a silver.
Or was that dumb?
Huh?
You pronounced that really well.
Yeah, thanks. I practiced. And they have like 15 locations now. Might as well. Well, they have...
Rob might confirm that or not.
Yeah, they have, 4 locations and 2 in the airports. They have 1 in Terminal 2, and they just opened in Terminal 4, I think.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I did some research.
I saw 4. I saw this up recently. That was cool.
Yeah, they have their 4 locations, and then they have 2 satellite areas in Terminal 1 and who the hell flies out of Terminal 2? Where are you going to, like, Bozeman or whatever the hell that...
Bozeman.
I don't
Montana?
know. I don't go that far north.
Man, you got something against Montana, I feel like.
No kidding, man. You should go up sometime.
You know, you could take... Maybe it's because my father-in-law lives in Montana.
No, that could be.
He has a lot of guns.
You can take Grand Avenue all the way to...
Montana?
To Missoula.
Missoula, yeah.
Missoula's awesome.
I love it.
It really is. Bozeman, you might be right about Bozeman. No matter what, if you're in Missoula, it's gonna take you 5 hours to get to any other city in Montana. It seems like so.
That's too funny. But yeah, no, I'm excited. Like I said, this list of things of all these beers I'm seeing, and I'm just like, yes, I'm excited about it. Then July, I can't wait.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get a nice little weather break. We have the bigger indoor foyer to queue up. I just think just reason to get excited about Arizona and Phoenix when most people are, a little weather worn. We hit the halfway point, and after that we are doing a Flagstaff event in the Pepsi Amphitheater, Fort Tahoe. It's called Jamboree. We have 2 or 3 bands and 20 Arizona breweries. Should just be a mellow time, a last hurrah for Flagstaff. We're excited to work with that area. I think that's one of the better places to have a festival in Flagstaff. We're going to be mostly in the Concert Bowl area. We're not going to be in a parking lot or anything like that. So,
will the camping be available there?
I don't know about that. I can check on that. Or people can do that, I guess, on their own.
Yeah, I don't know if that's...
It's not part of what we do, but...
there's a camping area there, because I've been to, what they call the Bluegrass and Blues Festival that's up there, and that's in that fort, that hill in the Pepsi Amphitheater, and they have like a RV section and a general camping section, so that's like a 3-day festival, so it's like you walk from your campsite down to the amphitheater, but I don't know if that camping's year round.
Yeah.
But there you go.
It should be. I think it's like only a $35 ticket or a $30 ticket. So we're just trying to have a good time. And like I said, have the last hurrah in Flagstaff. We're working with new partners up there. So hopefully it will get us maybe more involved in the summer festival up there. We'll see. We've got a couple things going on in November. Partnerships. We have another water challenge through the city of Scottsdale and Canal Convergence. We're bringing back Barrels, Bottles, and Brews, and that is a festival where there will be wineries and distilleries. So that'll be at Salt River Fields. In between all this, we will have a guild booth at the GABF to serve 4 or 5 different offerings every day. So it's a great way for a smaller brewery to commit much less resources to bring some beers up there. And pour a few on the floor of the GABF.
Little recognition, some of the small places, awesome.
We'll be there with a trench coat, like look what I got. Opening his trench coat. What do you want? I got it all.
Yeah. You want stouts? You want stouts?
You want a sour stout?
Hold the pant leg. That's too funny.
No, it's actually if you go to the GABF, it's a great way to check out some states and talk to the guild directors and people who know what's going on in the state. Again, we do it to let people know there's great beer in Arizona. We're actually trying to attract more brewers.
Yeah.
And just like I said, I remember a couple of years ago we brought white chocolate and more of the brewers were coming by to check it out because they thought it was an interesting flavor profile. So it's one of the more popular beers that we've done. And things that we have hang-ups about here, when they're just out there for the general public, like Orange Blossom crushes it out there too.
I would imagine it does.
It's not something that I hear a lot of people say to me in the groups that we run in, but I mean, it's probably one of the top selling beers in the state.
We're just
the spoils of always being around it.
Yeah, I mean, we're just like, it's Orange Blossom. I've had it. It's cool. And you're like, what's new? It's fresh. That's the craft beer geek in us.
What can't I get and I can complain about?
Yeah, I want to complain about what I can't get.
And complain about.
And then when we get it, we complain about it even more. So there's our show. If you guys ever heard our show, that's it. You're welcome.
We can't get it, we complain about it, and then when we do finally get it, we say it's not Orange Blossom.
Yeah.
So.
I want it in a 19.2 can now.
Yeah.
I refuse to drink anything that's not in a 19.2 ounce can.
It's not uber local.
Yeah.
And fresh.
Yeah.
When was this package? Yesterday?
Right.
Oh, old.
Yeah.
It's old.
I want my cans with a saran wrap on the top and a rubber band. And I want to see the guy fill it.
Yeah, exactly.
And on tap from the canning line. Yep.
What's his nickname?
Walk it over.
Yeah.
That's too funny. So, besides that coming up, we have Strong Beer Fest come up. I mean, it's really weird to say this real fast again, right?
The campaign to start Strong Beer Fest happens on July 29th.
Yeah, I was gonna say for you, I'm sure it's pretty much real fast. But I mean, even for everybody else, it just feels like it's like this year's almost over.
For the first time in a while, I'm going to leave the festival almost immediately and leave the state. I love doing that. I just get out. I'm going to go to California, Northern California, and I'm going to take a driving trip with my wife,
right.
and we'll turn the phones off for a little bit. And I think we're going to start at Russian River, and we're going to actually go to a couple wineries that we like up there too. And I'm excited about that part of it too. But yeah,
start all over again next year. Strong Beer Fest and go from there.
We already have the dates for Strong Beer Fest. We have Beer Week cooking already.
Mm-hmm.
We've got we're already planning for a fall festival in Tucson. We're gonna have 2 festivals in Tucson.
Cool. Wow.
It's gonna be an invitational. It's gonna be feature Arizona beers, but it's gonna probably be more collaboration fest.
Okay.
So we're gonna have. It's gonna be. We're still going to keep the Baja Beer Fest, which is small and Tucson centric, but this is going to open it up a little bit more for build a different kind of excitement for Tucson. So
very cool. All right, well, better wrap up.
Yeah, let's do it. We've wasted enough of Rob's time today.
If people want to find out more information about the Real Wild and Woody Festival or information about craft brewers and Arizona beer in general, where should they go, Rob, to check that out?
RealWildandWoody.com for Real Wild and Woody, azbrewcon.com. Choose AZ Brews for any general information. But Google works pretty good, man. If you type any of that stuff in, or you just type in Arizona beer, you'll find us. But more importantly, you'll see a lot of breweries.
For sure.
We have a listing of our breweries, but if you literally say in your phone, Google, if you say breweries in my area, it's pretty good. Works pretty good.
It really
and
does.
look for the guild sign at your local brewery. It's a cool sign, and it's usually in a pretty visible place, and they can point you in the right direction where to go if they're a member, and tell you deep dark secrets about Rob, probably.
They're all out in the open. All my secrets.
You just Google that too.
Yeah.
You just ask Google where Rob's deep dark secrets, and it comes right up. It's crazy. And where can people find us if they want to?
We are
all the things.
Check us out on MySpace, Foursquare, and Snapchat. Chris has a pretty risque Snapchat going on right now. No,
it's
you can
private.
You can find us at Hoppy Craftsmen on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and hoppycraftsmen.beer, which is very important, on the internet.
The interwebs.
And where else are we? Spotify.
How would they be here? How would they be here if they didn't know how to get it?
Spotify, iTunes.
Yeah, all those things.
All those
places.
things.
Listen to us. Leave a comment.
Yeah.
Leave a rating. Something like that.
Leave a rating. Fun. Give Chris and I 1 star, and then Rob 3 stars, and I'll give us 5 stars for total for your review. Yeah, we do total stars. We don't want an individual rating. We'll do a combination.
Combination. I'm okay with that. Combo rating.
Yeah, combo rating.
Excellent.
So.
And then if people don't know, creating a podcast actually costs money. It's really weird. So if you want to be a supporter of the show, go to patreon.com/hoppycraftsmen, become a patron supporter. Donate to this show. There's actually a bunch of different tiers on there. We actually have some tiers that are basically your name here tiers. So if you want to be, it's basically your name and that's your tier. And there's nobody else. It's one of one. So feel free to jump on that.
And I'm sure there's some special T-shirts
T-shirts, swag, stickers, that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool.
We'll throw in with that too.
Yes. And then we actually need to name the awesomest fucking people in the world, Ed.
That would be our Patreon supporters. And we have one sitting here. It's Rob. Rob's our Patreon supporter. And it just so happens that it's approximately his 1-year anniversary as a Patreon supporter. Wow. So we want to
manage to keep a credit card number that long.
We're like, I did max it out.
He's like, wow, that's still going through?
So he didn't cancel the charge. Like, what the hell is this?
But no, we just want to say thank you for supporting the show, Rob. We really appreciate it.
No, you guys are a handful of people that I listen to when I have the time. When I'm driving, pretty much it. No, it's good to hear from other people in the state, and really, it's funny these days that you're like, did I hear this on a podcast? Did I text that guy? Did we talk on the phone? Did we meet face to face? Did I see his face? How do I know this about this person? You know, right? That's the struggle. But
I'm sure your information overload is constantly tapping out.
I remember things. I just don't know how I
remember them.
Contain that information. Is that supposed to be secret? No. Well, maybe. I don't know.
It's in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes we get people who are like off the record. Like, what? I don't work for the Arizona Republic. Like, what are you talking about?
Where's the podcast? That's cool.
I don't have
I think I did say that earlier.
A recorder kind of looks like a vape pen, so we could do some super secret recording. But
there you go.
We wouldn't do that because we like everybody in this industry.
100% true. Who else are our supporters of the show, Ed, before we...
The other Patreon supporters, in addition to Rob, would be Zach Dominguez, Jessica Langley, Paul Fonzarelli.
Yeah, that's close.
Fonzarelli this time. The Indie Beer Show, Cena Gomez, Mark Ballesteros, and Anthony Bracamonte.
Awesome. Thank you guys for supporting the show. We really super appreciate it. Hopefully, at one point, we'll get to a certain tier and we'll buy some new equipment. We'll be super happy. So
yeah, and we'll see you at Real Wild and Woody.
Yeah, we'll see you guys there.
And we'll probably be doing interviews. So maybe we'll talk to you.
Excellent.
If you're unlucky enough.
Again, Rob, thank you for having us. Thanks for having us in. And cheers, guys.
Thank you for coming out.
Bye.
Cheers.